So not the best start in the league. So does that make the cups even more important for you guys this season?
No, it doesn't change the importance. I mean, I think it's pretty evident that all the competitions we're in are important. So, irrespective of how we may be travelling in one, from our perspective, it's we want to try and succeed in all the competitions we're in, and tomorrow night it's a good opportunity for us to get a step closer to playing in a final. So, big game for us, and looking forward to it.
How much do you know about Wraith Rovers? Obviously, they had a fantastic result in the last round against Aberdeen.
Yeah, no, as always, we scout the opponents. We've had people watching them, and obviously, cup games are a little bit different, I guess, to league games. With both teams aware that everything hinges on that day, and so we're expecting a tough game. We're expecting an opponent who will be determined to try and stop us, and our job is to make sure that, particularly at home, we kind of impose ourselves on them and try and create, an atmosphere and I guess a football environment that makes it difficult for them.
In terms of team news, Ange, are you expecting Callum back for tomorrow night and any others?
No, Callum won't be back. He's not quite ready yet. Most will be the sort of same makeup as the weekend. Marcus is available. Probably not to start, but he'll be part of the squad tomorrow. So, just thinking about the weekend, I think that's the only sort of one that's an inclusion.
Just looking back to the weekend, obviously we spoke after that about the away form in the league this season. Do you know or why the intensity is far greater at the moment when you're playing at home and you maybe can't always match that away from home?
Yeah, I mean, our away results haven't been great, but I wouldn't say our away form hasn't been great. So just got to differentiate between that, because I think you get caught up, creating a bigger sort of area of concern than what exists. Our results haven't been great, obviously, away from home, but our form actually has been pretty good. The weekend was probably the exception to that, in that we didn't really, as you said, play to our tempo, our intensity. Number of factors to that, but the stuff we could control, I thought we just needed to start the game with a little bit more intent to take the game to the opposition, and rather than sort of try and play safe or ease ourselves into the game. And we paid a price for that, because obviously they scored, and then we had to sort of try and create the opportunities ourselves by opening the opposition up, which wasn't easy. So we'll just got to get on with it, understand the areas of we need to improve, and move on.
And just in terms of, a reaction, with regards to the form and results that you're talking about, how important is it, especially from a fan's perspective, in terms of patience and understanding that you're in the process of a rebuild when results maybe aren't going the way you'd like? How much does it mean to you to get the time from supporters who aren't expecting miracles overnight?
Look, I'm not. Look, I'm not on. I'm not on social media. I'm not a great reader of what's going on around the place. But my general feel is that our supporters are totally understanding of the situation we're in. They've been very supportive right from day one, and I haven't sensed a shift in that. I think probably Sunday's game was probably the most disappointed they've probably been in our performance. But I haven't felt that the supporters are thinking that this is going to be a quick fix at any stage. So, for us, what's really important is what we sort of do internally here. We can't get caught up in what outside timelines are or what expectations are from various people who obviously, when things aren't going well, are going to critique what we do, and again, we just got to stand up to that and face that and accept that as part of the process. But as I said, internally, what we're trying to do, and what I'm certainly trying to steer us to, is that we've started to sort of on a certain road to be a certain kind of football team, and we won't waver from that. I won't waver from that, and belief and confidence in the group here and what we're trying to achieve, and all these kind of things that happen along the way are just further sort of challenges to our commitment to it, and we'll just keep ploughing on it, in this direction.
I know you've said before how you want to, turn those things into building resilience, but do you feel like you've been dealt a bit of a rough hand in terms of your start here at Celtic and building your squad and being hit with this raft of injuries?
No, I'm not. I'm not the kind of woe is me kind of bloke. So I kind of get it. There's always challenges. Any manager will tell you, and that's why I never comment on other managers' predicaments, because I know we've all got individual challenges. And yeah, it would have been great to have a full complement of players, and we're obviously missing our skipper and we're missing our top goal scorer, and you can start thinking that these things are piling up against you, or you can see it, as I said, an opportunity to build resilience, because if we can get through this period and still come out with positive outcomes, that means then when things will settle down, and they will settle down. I mean, it is a very, very unusual period. I've been through periods myself, obviously in my career, like this, where there's a lot of disruptions, a lot of very little chance to settle, but they always pass. They always pass. And what the key thing through that is that, as I said, we stay strong, that we stay calm, and clearly know what our sort of objectives are, and not waver from that. You can go around thinking about the possibilities of what we could do if we had everyone available, but again, that's not in our control. What's in our control is, we've got a game tomorrow night and an opportunity for us to progress in a competition, and that's where our focus is.
Is it helpful to have weekend and midweek games in a run like this while you're trying to build a team and trying to bed in the new players?
Is it helpful? It depends, because at the moment it's kind of not helpful because we've got a really limited amount of players to call on. So we're kind of, calling on the same players all the time, and I think that's had an effect on even some of the injuries we've had. So, you'd say, well, in the current state of our squad, it'd be much better if we didn't have midweek games. But again, then I'd be talking about things that aren't a reality. The reality is we do have games, and we've got games right through this period, and we just got to crack on and focus on trying to perform at our best in each opportunity we get. I've always thought this initial period was always going to be a little bit of a roller coaster for us. That's how it's proved in terms of results. So that's not unexpected. So we just got to, as I said, just got to stay strong through this and keep our resolve into what we're trying to build.
Can I just ask you about James Forrest and Christopher Julian? What stage are they at in terms of getting back into the first team?
Yeah, look, I think with both, we can try and put targets on it, but I think probably post the international window, I'd expect both of them to hopefully be training with the first team, and then after that, I guess it'll depend on their levels of fitness and so how quickly they adapt to what we want to do in our football as well. So, I think I don't think you'll see either one of them before the international window. Well, I know you won't.
Just a quick one from me, Ange. The Wraith manager, John McGlynn, he was at Celtic for 3.5 years as a scout. He worked with John and a few of the other backroom staff there. Have they talked about him and kind of what to expect maybe from a team that he's going to set out against you?
Well, look, like I said, we use kind of every avenue we can to get as much information as possible. I think, having said that, I think we're still at the stage of really, and from my perspective, it's still more about us trying to play our football at the moment and trying to embed certain principles. I mean, we saw, I think even on the weekend, if you kind of fall into the trap of trying to adjust things for whatever the circumstances are on any given day, then we veer away from the principles we want to have as a team. So, we're still at that stage as a group where, there's certain principles we want to, like I said, instill and embed in every player and everything we do. And so when we go into a game, we obviously respect the opponent and get as much information as possible, but we tend to focus on what we're doing.
Gabriel?
And just going back to tomorrow night, how important is it to get to Hampden Park, but also to give yourself the chance to win silverware again, considering the club didn't win any trophies last year for the first time in a decade?
I don't think any of that changes. I mean, I get why people are saying that, but the club won an awful lot of trophies before last year, and it didn't mean that diminished the disappointment of not winning any last year. So it doesn't mean like just because you've won, you've had success that that not having success is somehow forgiven, and it's the same the other way. So I don't think the importance changes at all. I think once you become part of this football club, then you have to embrace the fact that every competition, you're expected to challenge for, and every game you play, you're expected to try and win. So that's the football club we're at, and I think for a lot of us, that's the attraction of being here. So, I don't think there's extra motivation or extra anything because of the disappointment last year, and there wouldn't be. I don't think there'd be any less pressure if we had won everything last year. So I think the expectations of this football club are constant, and they should be, because that's the history of it.
Hi, Ange. Giakoumakis seems to have been bedded in gently. I mean, is he one that's ready to make an impact as of tomorrow, or will he still take time beyond that to get up to speed?
No, I mean, like I said, he'll be part of the squad tomorrow. Again, we don't. It's his first game for the season, so we don't expect him to come in and be flying. So, like every other player, it's going to take a little bit of time for him to come up to speed and get some match fitness. But good thing is he's had a good solid week of training, and he feels pretty good. And hopefully get him some game time tomorrow, and then build from there.
Is Bolingoli likely to be involved again tomorrow? And do you see him having a potential future at Celtic in terms of reviving his career here?
In terms of his future, I don't know why he's any different to anyone else here. He's part of the squad, and part of the playing group, and that's why he was selected on the weekend. And again, I haven't decided on the starting 11 for tomorrow, because obviously we just finished training. I want to see everyone pulls up after last week's game, but he'll definitely be part of the squad.